Lenny Jarrett, thanks for joining us again on the Illinois Channel. It was, I believe, last fall we spoke about why you were at the Capitol, and at that time you were trying to convince the lawmakers that there should be a scholarship fund. So let's have you first tell us what is the concept and how it came to be that this actually is now in existence.
Okay. Well, the Investing Kids Act became part of the school funding formula, and it created a tax credit scholarship where private citizens and corporations can donate money to what are called scholarship granting organizations, or SGOs, that then students then apply to. They get a scholarship that then they can pay for to go to a private school, public school, charter school, or other school of their choice. So it gives them options to go to a better education fit for them.
And when we last spoke, this was not in existence, but it was combined with some legislation that did pass. So now it is in existence. Yes. And as I understand it, you had to have the legislature act because you needed a tax deductibility for these donations. Is that right?
Correct. They created a tax credit. So if somebody, the max was $1 million per person, a person gives $1 million to a SGO, then they could get a 75% tax credit off of their tax liability.
And when did it go into actually become law, and how much money has thus far been raised?
Well, the law got passed it was late August, early September when it actually passed. So it went into effect, all the SGOs got started, set up, and they started to take money as of January 1st. Currently, there's been $46.7 million pledged out of the $100 million availability for that. And right now, I believe $17.6 million of the pledges have actually been given to the SGOs, and there's 9 approved SGOs throughout the state.
And let's go back to the $100 million figure. What does that represent? The
$100 million is the cap for how much can be donated to get that 75% credit. So basically, the tax credit is capped at a max of $750,000 credit to where the state would not get that money.
So if I'm a child that was born in the wrong zip code, and maybe the school in my district is failing, many people don't graduate, yes, and I want to escape that failing school, this is the lifeline, so to speak, that someone can apply for a scholarship to go to a private school or a charter school or some other school.
Or another public school. They can actually, part of this program, they could actually choose another public school, a school that better fits their education needs.
And how would they get more information if they want to apply?
The mytax.illinois.gov has a link on there for the Invest in Kids Act. They can go and get a link to every one of the scholarship granting organizations so they can go and apply. And they're set up by region. So there's some of the SGOs only work in regions 1 or 2, which is Chicago, Cook County, and North Illinois, Lake County, and across the top of the state. There's actually 5 regions, so you can pick one. There are several that actually work in all 5 regions. But some of them are dedicated, so you just need to go look and see which ones are available, and you can apply to multiple SGOs. So whoever's got the money available, you can apply to them.
So if there's a school that one wants to go to, and let's say the tuition, for the sake of discussion, is $8,000, how much money can someone get? Do they get 100%, or what percentage should they get?
It depends on the level of federal poverty. Gifted and talented can get up to 110%. English language learners, which means they're having to learn the English language, they can get up to 120%. And then if you're between the 185 to 200% poverty level, they can get 100% of the operating expenses. So last year, Illinois spent $12,937, I think it was, per student. So they could get that. And as you go above 200%, it goes down to 75% of that. And I believe above 250% of the poverty level, it drops to 50% of the operating expenditures for last year.
You mentioned $46 million or so has been pledged. $17 million approximately the checks have been received. That when can people apply, or have people already started applying?
Yeah, applications started February 1st, so it's been over a month now. Kids can start to apply, and I believe some of the scholarships have already started being awarded by some of the scholarship organizations, but there's no data yet on how many and things like that at this point. But yeah, February 1st, kids can start applying.
And this is for the school year starting in the fall.
For the school year starting coming up this fall, 2018.
Has there been, there was a lot of opposition to this. Where does the opposition stand now? Is there an effort, I thought, to repeal this legislation?
Actually, there's two bills actually trying to expand the legislation. Right now, I believe there's about 220 or a little over 220 non-public schools eligible that have registered with the ISBE and are certified, the Illinois State Board of Education. One of the bills actually seeks to expand that to schools that have registered with ISBE but not certified yet. As long as they've been registered for over a year, that would expand the number by, I believe it's a little over 40 more additional schools. And one of the provisions in the Invest in Kids Act was the tax credit could not be also taken on your federal taxes. There's a move to actually make that also eligible to be able to be used as a deduction on your federal taxes as well. And yeah, there's talk about it with the governor's race right now. There's talking about some of the candidates are talking about trying to repeal it if they're elected governor and stuff as well. But right now there's no real effort to try to repeal it right now.
Now, so schools, there could be Catholic schools, religious schools, people can apply to those. Clarify this, because you know, people will say, I don't want my tax dollars going to a religious school. I think the point you would argue is these aren't tax dollars. Is that
correct? And the courts have ruled that these are not tax dollars. These are private companies and private individuals donating to a scholarship organization, and then the money's going to whatever school that parent and their student are trying to select through this scholarship. So it really isn't taxpayer dollars from the legal definition, and the courts have already ruled this is not taxpayer money.
If we went to, is there any transparency on this? If people, is there a website we can go to, not necessarily have the names of the students and families, but how many people have applied or how many scholarships will have been granted so that one can follow the course of this program?
Yeah, there will be on the mytax.illinois.gov. There's an Invest in Kids Act section to the website, and they will gradually have all this data there. There's not the data on the students itself now, but the SGOs that are approved are there. The schools that are approved and can be used are there. So all that information is going to be there, and every one of the SGOs has to report every single year their financials, how many kids they helped, and all that. So all that data will be available on that website as it gets more, as the information comes in from the SGOs.
So that's pretty much the story for Illinois. Now,
yes.
It has been tried in other states, and what kind of results does that tell us?
The other states that have tried it has been growing like crazy. Illinois is actually the 22nd state with a tax credit scholarship. Florida by far is the biggest. They have actually 2 tax credit scholarship programs, and theirs are specifically for special needs for the most part. And it's really helpful with students with special needs to be able to get the exact treatments that they need for whatever difficulties and stuff they have. So it's been very individualized educational needs is how it's been working, and it's been great. It's been growing every year. Florida actually has an auto escalator. If they hit 90% of their donations from whatever their cap is, it'll automatically increase the next year, and they're up to now, I believe it's about $550 million is their cap on their tax credits.
Why do we have a cap?
You have a cap because of the credits. So
the tax credit.
The tax credit. So the state wants to know how much less money they're probably going to be receiving, and if they cap that and grow that slowly over time, they know how to account for that money that's going directly into education that they no longer have to spend, but they have a feel for it as it grows, so they can account for that. It's basically they're not getting as much revenue at that point from that, so they have to account for it.
And if there were any schools out there that say, we want to sign up so people can come to our school, how would they become part of the program?
They have to go through the certification process with the Illinois State Board of Education. And that link is right on the mytax.illinois.gov on the Invest in Kids Act. It's right there. You can just click it. And that's why I went and found yesterday all of the schools that are already certified to be able to take scholarships.
And let's say that website slowly, because if people like me, your hearing isn't what it used to
Right.
be.
It's mytax.illinois.gov, so .gov, and then there's a link right on the page that says Invest in Kids Act.
All right, Lenny, Jared, thank you.
Thank you.